Now tell me, how can our meetings be more effective?
Effective meetings require essentially two things. First, they require good planning. The best planning, in my experience, happens soon after the last meeting adjourns. Identify the issues. Make assignments. When drawing up the agenda, assign a time allocation, if not to each item, at least in major blocks. If an agenda item you have counted on is not ready for presentation, lay it back for a future meeting. A good agenda is a prerequisite for a good meeting. Second, effective meetings require discipline. I don't like meetings to be overly formal, but I detest sloth. I get edgy when there is what I call chair drift. Members have a right to expect the chair to exercise some meeting discipline. This can be observed by how meeting time is distributed. A weak chair allows a very informal, expansive atmosphere in the front end of an agenda, while the lower end is rushed and often unfinished. Always the role of the chair is to move the body toward consensus. But the chair cannot do it alone. Board members must practice self-discipline. Meetings reach a point where it has all been said, but not everyone has said it yet. Chairs don't like to cut people off or rule them out of order, but some comments are not helpful. Directors need to practice self-discipline and impose discipline on each other. I suggest 3 meeting ground rules. 1, the bylaws. You made them, you should live by them or amend them. 2, Robert's Rules of Order is the widely acclaimed authority on parliamentary procedure. It defines some 40-plus motions and suggests how they may be used appropriately. It is good to be reminded, however, that Robert's rules were developed for the U.S. House of Representatives, where some 435 congressmen compete for limited airtime. The strict application of Roberts in a small informal assembly is, in my experience, as likely to confuse and inhibit as it is to facilitate. I prefer, therefore, to be informed by Roberts, not bound by them legalistically. Ground rule number 3, common sense or common courtesy. When I turned the Habitat chair over to my successor, I gave him not Robert's rules, but the Bible, open to 1 Corinthians 13. I gave him not a gavel with which to rule someone out of order, but a towel, suggesting servant leadership.